the success and that unprecedented success rate is that the Trump administration changed our nation on trade, on securing the border. We're the strongest, safest border ever in the history of our country, on Islamic terrorism. And in fact, we got along very well with the various countries, including coming up with the Abraham Accords. But it's because of cutting taxes and cutting regulations at the highest level ever, and on building the greatest economy. Any time in the history of the world, there's never been an economy like we had.
Liz Harrington, just some of the Trump's accomplishments, and we remember them. Liz Harrington, spokesperson for Donald J. Trump. Liz, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful. I got a bunch of questions for you. And just so everyone knows, we're talking to another DeSantis spokesperson next. So I'm going to talk to each of you as if I'm a supporter of the other side, just because that's more interesting. So does Ron DeSantis have the chops to take out Donald Trump?
No, he doesn't. And frankly, they're not even in the same league. I mean, that's why he had to bring on someone with more star power than himself for this really botched Twitter launch for the Florida governor. But it's so much bigger and deeper than that. It's not just about headlines and influencers, if you will, on Twitter. It's about delivering results based on real convictions. I mean, that's why President Trump has been so successful. He's not beholden to donors or billionaires or anybody in the political class. He's beholden to the country and the American people. He never needed this job. He is doing it because he deeply cares about this country, and that is real. And you can't ever substitute that. You can't. The artificial version of that is always going to be that. It's going to be artificial and it's going to be skin deep. It's not going to be the real substance and the real results that you get, which, as the clip you just mentioned, there's just a handful of the accomplishments that President Trump had in his first term. You know what he's going to do, but he's going to do even more because now he's even more equipped to deliver real results.
Yeah, that's interesting. So one argument is that Trump is more of a practical politician. Pragmatic would be a good word. But DeSantis is the true believer of these things. Let's take pro-life, for instance. The argument would be, well, Trump hasn't really thought deeply about these things, and he's like pro-life, but whatever, just it's more pragmatic to get elected and whatever. But DeSantis, he really believes, he's deeply, profoundly a pro-life guy. What do you make of that?
Well, President Trump is the most pro-life president in history. It's a very different thing to be running a state versus running the country and having so much more pressure on you and so much more on all sides. He did the impossible. I mean, people said there's no way Roe v. Wade could ever get overturned. He did that. And he did that by following through on his word. So President Trump, it's not pragmatism or this or that. It's common sense. But it's also true conviction. I mean, he is a man of his word. He said he would be the most pro-life president in history. He was, and he will be again. And so there's real substantive depth to that. There's actual results. And it's not just for headlines or this or that. It's for substantive change that actually can change the country.
So I believe one of the reasons why Trump was so successful in the 2016 campaign is because he got an unprecedented amount of media coverage. No, it's never been anything like it. Like, Trump would give a press conference at 2 o'clock and CNN would go live at 11 and just show an empty podium for 2 hours, and then Trump would be 2 hours late on purpose, and it would just still be an empty podium, and then he would take all the oxygen out of the room, and every other candidate was asked, what do you think about what Trump just said? It was 24/7 Trump coverage, mostly because I think the media thought it was a circus and he wasn't going to win anyway. But we've seen since January 6th that the media boxed Trump out. Social media, the media, and it wasn't until just the other day that Trump got that town hall for the first time really back on cable news. So my concern is kind of a live by the sword, die by the sword. That maybe 2016 he was so successful because he got unprecedented media coverage, and now in this next campaign he's probably going to get the least media coverage of anyone. They're not going to cover his rallies anymore. They're not going to right? So how can he overcome that and still get a record number of votes?
Well, I think the media landscape is really changing. I mean, CNN, when President Trump had that town hall, was the biggest ratings they've had in years, because people don't trust them anymore. They've largely tuned it out and turned it off. So there's a lot of independent media. We're speaking on one of them, one of the many great networks that have come up out of this really one-party state system. It's Pravda everywhere. I mean, the mainstream press, the fake news it's so corrupt. It's been so detrimental to our country. And of course, it's a challenge, but we have to go around that. But we also do have to go into the belly of the beast. I mean, that's why he proved going on CNN, which was a great night for President Trump, because he was able to talk directly to the American people, take questions directly from them, and the common sense just pours through, and everyone hears it, and they want more of that. So he's going to be doing more of that. He's the master at this. He's a master communicator. He has Truth Social now, which has been a great benefit to diversifying this really corrupt control over big tech. So there's lots of ways that we can go around it. There's going to be way more innovative ways as well. President Trump, he will get his message out. And it's very easy when you're speaking the truth, because the truth has a way of getting out there and people gravitate towards it.
Hillary Clinton the other day said that people who are concerned about Biden's age have a legitimate point. That's a legitimate concern. But Trump can't really criticize Biden's age when he's only a few years younger. Now, age is one thing. Like, he's like way more like with it. There's no question about that. But still old, to the point where Megyn Kelly the other day said both of them could die before the campaign is over, and certainly in first year of office. What do you say to that when the other top candidate, although right now way behind, but the other top candidate is 44? So he's got youth on his side, Liz. What do you say to the complaint that Trump's too old?
I mean, have you looked at the guy? This guy is he's got the most stamina. He's incredibly sharp. He's brilliant, and he's got the best energy of anybody. Age is just a number, and it's clearly very different when you look at Joe Biden, who's frankly never had it when it came to mental ability and stamina. But clearly he doesn't have it now. And youth is not what it's all cracked up to be. I mean, is that, saying that we need like a Barack Obama back in 2008? No, we have somebody who is so unique and tried and tested and true. President Trump is a once-in-a-generation leader. He is so fit for these times. He is the man for the job. That's why he's crushing it in all the polls. The people get it. They know how terrible the state of our country is. They know how serious these times are, and they want that serious leader who they know what he's going to do, and they know that he will deliver, because he always gets the job done.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. Thanks so much for watching that clip. If you want to see more truth like that, please subscribe to the First YouTube page. Just hit subscribe below.